sharks and rays are among the most successful predators ever to have prowled the planet. And while at first glance these fish look very different from each other, they are in fact closely related.
Rays actually evolved from sharks around 150 million years ago. They both have skeletons made not of bone, but of lighter, more flexible cartilage. They also share smooth-looking skin, but in fact they're covered with tiny scales called dermal denticles, which can develop into a variety of weapons, including knife-like teeth and stiletto barbs. Although sharks and rays are found worldwide, only a few species are able to move from the sea into fresh water.
Swimming with river rays in the Amazon, I was amazed that an animal I had always associated with the sea had become a permanent river-dwelling predator. It's known as the wish-you-were-dead fish because of the intense pain caused by the barb on its tail.
Being underwater in their world, I was very careful not to get too close. It was only when I caught one that I got my first good look at the animal's barb.
This Brazilian spotted ray is a potential killer.
That spine there, very dangerous. It's just like a knife, 5 inches long. That would go in your flesh very easily, be very painful. And actually, if that's in the wrong part of your body, that could puncture an artery, that could be fatal.
This is one of the barbs that South American fishermen fear so much. Not only is it sharp enough and hard enough to pierce bone, it's also got these horrible serrations running down the sides. So when it comes back out, it makes a real mess.
And recently, I heard reports of much bigger river rays in Argentina. I've come to the remote banks of South America's second longest river, the Paraná. Translated, its tribal name means as big as the sea. And this huge river is the scene of some of the most horrific stingray encounters I've ever heard. The first about a boy playing in the water near his mother. The post-mortem showed he had been stabbed by a stingray. Along the same stretch of river, I hear more stories of this freshwater killer.
Cortan muy hondo las avenas y
Sangra
sí,
muerto.
Sí, muerto. Algunos.
He said, you know, they have known horses to die as a result of a blood vessel being punctured.
Se hincha, se hace agujeros, ¿sí?
But also they've had other horses die from infection.
Al ser picado ya.
He says it's almost as if the horses are crying because the pain is so bad.
This vast waterway is the perfect hiding place for a deadly stingray. It's not a ray I've heard of before. So I visit Dr. Carlos Gomez, a surgeon who knows all about the effects of its lethal barb.
Y en los desgarros y en los pedazos de carne queda la gelatina y el veneno.
So the mucus that's on the spine, it doesn't just contain bacteria. There is actually a venom there,
resulting in deep, putrid wounds laced with toxins. The entire outer skin produces a necrotic venom, which becomes more concentrated around the tail and along the barb, meaning it is literally cloaked in a venom that destroys tissue. I head out, knowing that I'm on the trail of a creature with such a fearsome reputation that the local fishermen refuse to fish for them. Jose, my boatman, is an accomplished fisherman. He has the all-important local knowledge that I always depend on. He will help me navigate this labyrinth to find the deep eddies that are the stingray's preferred hunting ground.
Something on there, I think. Oh, it's a piranha. It's a piranha. Wow. Right, what's happened there is that the bait's been chopped in half, and then I foul hooked piranha in the back. Chunky, chunky piranha.
To maximize my chances of catching a stingray in this vast river, I need my bait to be in the water for as long as possible. But the resident piranhas have other ideas.
Nothing, nothing. That's very odd. Zzz, stop. Dum, 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 dum.
Pirañazo.
Piranhas are still active by the look of it. Cursed by piranhas.
One by one, my baits are stolen.
Yeah, well, that's not going to catch anything. Not like that, it isn't anyway.
I'm quickly realizing that this river is a haven for deadly fish, but the stingray is the only one I'm after. It is vital to understand the behavior of the other fish in the river besides your quarry in order to avoid the other species, like the omnipresent piranha. To remove these sight hunters from the equation, I begin fishing at night. I set my line, now confident it is past piranha feeding time.
You ever see that?
It feels like a piranha, but it's too big for a piranha, I think.
Look at that. So much for piranhas not feeding at night.
Normally in South America, I'm plagued by stingrays when I'm not fishing for them. But now, they're mysteriously elusive. So I try something that I wouldn't normally do.
I've got a second rod out. A lot of people in the town are giving me advice what I need to be doing, and one of the things that keeps cropping up is you haven't got enough lines in the water. I don't totally hold with that. I don't necessarily believe that 2 rods gives you double the chance, but it all comes down to just one bait being in the right place.
Even though I've given in to using 2 rods, only one is really strong enough to land a monster. If the lighter rod happens to hook a fish, I could be outgunned.
That's a good fish. That's a good sized fish. This feels like a ray.
And it's on the lighter rod.
Yeah, that's moving, that's moving. I'm off a very snaggy island at the moment. If we can just slowly go down in the current, then we're clear of that, and we're then adjacent to a beach. And also the current's slack there. We can just very slowly coax it into shallow, slack water.
But then it fastens itself to the bottom, and the struggle enters a new phase.
It's now been on well over an hour.
The stingray's wide, flat body glues it to the bottom, making it feel like I'm pulling against the entire riverbed.
2 hours and 10 minutes now.
With this rod, my chances of success are slim.
Oh, yes, yes.
This is turning into a war of attrition.
It feels like it has come unstuck from the bottom a couple of times, but it's just most of the time it's just a dead weight. Every now and again, there's a slight movement, it rises, and then it sort of sticks down again. This just feels like a dead weight, a dead weight. That could be in a tree, it could be in a tree. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to take the boat upstream a little bit, and I'm just going to apply some pressure just from the other side, because if it is in a snag, possibly, if I can just get a different angle on it. That's the tail hitting the line, tail hitting the line.
This is turning into one of the longest battles of my career.
3 hours.
My back and arms are now burning.
That is fish, I think. That is fish, that is fish, that is fish, that is fish moving.
My only chance of ever seeing this huge fish is to heave it into the shelving shallows 200 yards away.
We've got it literally just 10, 15 feet from the bank.
As the creature tires, I have it exactly where I want it.
There it is, 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 there it is!
After perhaps the most punishing battle I have ever had, I land one of the biggest freshwater fish I've ever seen.
The thing I really want to do with this one, though, is get a close look at the tail. I mean, obviously not too close.
I may have never heard of it before, but this short-tailed river ray is the most feared predator in this river.
Nearly 53 inches across.
This giant stingray is very different from the stingray that I caught in Thailand. That beast was flatter-bodied and had a long tail like a bullwhip. But this short-tailed ray has a thicker, heavier body, and it wields its muscular tail like a club.
That's what I wanted to look at.
This tail has not one but two venomous barbs, weapons that are known to have killed people, making this the deadliest stingray I've ever caught.
Just bent over it here, I'm just not seeing the shape of the fish at all. I've just got this huge broad back with this amazing pattern on it. As fish go, it has to be one of the strangest fish there is, and in a river as well, you know, the size of this thing.
Normally, you want all the sophisticated gear you can get to bring in a fish like this.
Yet there are subsistence fishermen who sometimes catch large fish using much simpler equipment, just a line and a hook. To me, fishing like this is even more of a challenge. There's no rod and reel to insulate you from the animal's raw power. And the ultimate test using a hand line would be to catch and release a shark.
Traveling to the remote Solomon Islands in the South Pacific, I'm venturing into unfamiliar territory. Salt water. What's more, I've left my rod and reel behind.
I'm heading for a village called Tamaneki in the heart of Morovo Lagoon.
I've heard that the people here worship sharks, and although they fish and swim in waters where these predators are common, they believe that they are protected against attack. I just hope this protection extends to visitors, as my permission to catch these fearsome fish only applies if I use traditional methods.
That's a bit of stingray, because that's what everyone says is the bait for sharks. And slight apprehension actually before putting it in the water, because this is a small, wobbly dugout canoe. You know, normally if you're fishing for sharks, you've got a big boat, you've got a reel to keep the line handy. Well, I'm going to be using a hand line, so I've got line around my ankles. Something could take off at speed.
And I could be dragged in. My boatman Morgan brought me to this lagoon because it's full of sharks. And it's not long before my bait is taken.
Tightening up, tightening up, tightening up, tightening up. There's a shark on. Shark.
Here comes the surf.
Here comes the shark.
It's coming
Can you
up.
see it?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, the shark's just seen us, just seen us. That was a run. Gosh, that was a run. This is when it could really kick off. Gonna get this line well clear of me. That's it, it's right under the boat. It's gonna run now. It's running, it's running, it's running, it's running. It's sounding, going down. I'm gonna try and just tire it out very slowly. I can feel a very quick pulse. Dun, 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 dun. I'm quite puzzled by the way this feels, but again, I'm not used to fishing a hand line. I'm used to fishing a rod. Move the bloody boat, move the boat, it's moving towards you. Oh. Oh. There's a knot. What I'll do, I might provoke the shark a little bit more. I might just bring it up towards the surface more. Yeah, and that, yes, exactly. That's its reaction. What it does, it kicks. Okay, up to the boat, and it's a kick. That's a kick. That's pulling.
The running line is burning my hand, but if I wrap it around my hand, I could be pulled in.
It's got strength, but...
Finally, we get the fish on the surface.
Hooks out, hooks out. Tidy the line away.
I may have landed bigger fish before, but catching this grey reef shark on a hand line is an experience I'll never forget.
Here we go. Catch and release shark from a dugout canoe. I mean, quite an insane venture in some ways, but it worked.
Most of us can sleep easy, safe in the knowledge that sharks are confined to salt water. There is, however, a dangerous rule breaker.
One shark can swim into rivers and does so regularly. It has unusually high levels of testosterone and a reputation for being one of the most aggressive animals on the planet. This predator also hunts in shallow water, often ramming its victim before taking a bite.
Bull sharks are thought to account for more attacks on humans than any other shark. Because more than any other shark, their territory overlaps with ours. A horrific attack in Pensacola, Florida, highlights how this predator can reach us in water where we wouldn't think a monster could be. An 8-year-old boy is bitten in the shallows, just feet from the shore. The boy's uncle grabs the shark by its tail, but the predator has already taken the child's arm.
It takes your arm off, it can take a leg off, just in the blink of an eye. You know, you bleed out quick. The chance of survival is real slim.
The boy survived, but with so many bull shark attacks along Florida's coastline, others aren't so lucky. And because this shark can also swim in fresh water, they could easily slip into Florida's canals and right into people's backyards. But could a man-eating shark really stalk this close to home? To find out, I visit shark behaviorist Grant Gilmore.
The females giving birth in the lagoon or in the downstream freshwater areas. So they're 500, 600 pounds. Then they leave. The young stay for the first 5 or 6 years, till they're 5 or 6 feet in length. You know, a large predator by freshwater standards.
The ability to swim in both oceans and rivers sets the bull shark apart from nearly every other saltwater fish.
The water in these two tanks may look the same to us, but these are two very different worlds. If I were to take a saltwater fish, like one of these clownfish, and drop it into fresh water, it would die, and that would have nothing to do with these piranhas. Its body would start to suck in water, mainly through the fine membranes of its gills. Its kidneys would work overtime, trying to pump that water back out, but it would be a losing battle. In the end, all its body cells would burst.
But a bull shark escapes this fate by using tiny sensors around its body to constantly monitor the salt level of the surrounding water. Then a special organ, the rectal gland, acts like an on-off valve, releasing or retaining salt as required. This trick stops bull sharks from exploding in fresh water like other saltwater fish, and gives them a unique passport into the world's inland waterways. And in Florida, the Indian River Lagoon is a direct gateway between salt and fresh water.
Right up ahead there is the main way in and the main way out between the open ocean and these thousands of miles of freshwater canals. So this here, you can see it's only a couple of 100 yards across, is like a highway for sharks.
I want to catch a bull shark making its way from the sea into fresh water. Because I'm fishing from the shore in very snaggy water, I'm stepping up my gear. Enormous forged hooks with the strongest line I've ever used. As I could hook something 3 times my weight, local fisherman Mike Palmer is on hand to stop me being dragged into the water. With the heavy-duty equipment set, it's now a waiting game. There are shoals of bait fish swimming through here, just the thing that would attract a large predator. And something seems to be chasing them.
This feels like a good fish. It's been taking line off the drag. Oh, here we go.
After fighting with a large fish for several minutes,
Hold on. That feels like it might be off.
my line suddenly goes slack.
There's a catfish on the bait, but what I felt was definitely bigger than a catfish.
Looking at the teeth marks on this bait fish, it's clear that a shark took a bite before spitting it out. But it's not long before I get another take.
Yep, that's something on. There's a very stop-start run. That's a fish on. Oh, yep. And I can feel a kick there. Yeah, that's a kicking away. There we go. It's taking. Oh, that's waking up now. It's waking up. If a big fish pulls, the worst case scenario is I actually end up in the water.
And now I get a positive ID.
Whoa, here we go.
It is a bull shark. I was hoping to catch an adult female coming in from the sea to give birth, but it looks like I've hooked a large juvenile, about the right size to be heading out to the ocean.
They go bigger than this, but this is a respectable sized fish.
At about 6 feet long, this shark is a big predator to find in fresh water. Its bleeding mouth will heal quickly, but what I'm interested in is what you can't see. Its retractable, razor-sharp teeth are only revealed when they bite into something.
You can absolutely see how effective they are, and you can absolutely understand how somebody, even with an exploratory bite in a way from an animal like this, you know, could just bleed out, lose a lot of blood, and that could be a fatal encounter.
It's frightening to think that this shark could have been patrolling Florida's fresh waters for the last 6 years, and it wasn't alone.
Throughout the warmer parts of the world, bull sharks use rivers and estuaries as safe places to give birth to their live young. Occasionally, this leads to human tragedy.
As they move inland, bull sharks are increasingly likely to swim past people who are unaware that these predators can strike many miles from the ocean. But perhaps more frightening is the size of some of these fish. One of the biggest bull sharks ever recorded was found up a South African river. But its size was not the sole reason this monster hit the headlines.
It was 200 miles outside its normal range, in water thought to be too cold for this species to survive. But more importantly, the river where it was found is also popular with tourists, so there was a more pressing question. Was this monster a one-off, or did it have company?
They joined the investigation at the town of Witstrand, beside the Breda River. Scientists tracked this 13-foot shark swimming within feet of unwitting residents. It was tracked a full 20 miles from the ocean before the battery in the acoustic tag ran out. Now they want me to help discover whether, as in Florida, bull sharks are just using the river to give birth. It's not long before I find evidence that a shark is back in this river.
This is the victim, is it?
It was incredible. I just put the boat alongside and heard a giant splash about 20 yards off the harbour wall here. There was a giant pool of blood. The fish floated up to the surface.
One of the reasons bull sharks got their name is because they are known to ram their prey before they kill it. This can clearly be seen by the marks along the side of this cob.
So you reckon it's actually just hit it from the side, and then when it's floundering in the water, just came along and just, I mean that's about the thickness of my leg, which is quite disconcerting, and it's gone right through the backbone as well, just clean through. Sheesh. This is actually the biggest cob that I've seen so far, and that is without the final third, which is out there somewhere inside a shark.
Is this the work of the same monster that was here last year? If it is, then I need to be prepared to hook a half-ton shark. It's actually a very strongly swimming bait. That's about 30, 40 yards off there, and that's right off the line. It came in on one hook, straight onto another one, and out into the water. I mean, it's quite possible if there's a shark in the area, they actually check that out on the way in, and they could well be sort of lurking around, eyeing that up. I'm using a balloon as a float to keep the bait visible in mid-water. If the bait is taken, I must stay cool and count to 20. If I try to set the hook too quickly, the shark may sense that something's wrong and spit the bait out. Just a case now of waiting. Is the shark taken out, or is that the bait just running?
It's not shooting out at speed. Ah, yes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anchor up, please. Anchor up. And it's running. That's running. It's running. Look at that. It's really cutting sideways. They're really cutting sideways. Oh, that was really heart-stopping when it suddenly goes slack and you think it's off, and then it's on. There's tension there again. It's probably kicking or rolling on the line even. That's a tail. That's a fish. Dorsal and tail. Yeah, there's definitely some tactics going on. The speed didn't work, so now just a bit of a war of attrition. This is punishment. Two hours.
By now, the battle is beginning to attract attention. This is turning into an event. Everyone wants to see this shark. But is this the record-sized female monster that was caught here last year?
I can see the fish.
I've got a boat full of scientists eager to put an acoustic tag in this shark to find out what it's doing here so close to people.
Okay, I've got the line. If it goes, it can go without the line catching anybody. Put that line round the... Right, have you got the tow strap round? Yeah. Good, okay, brilliant. Got a good hold? Yeah, I'm good. Okay.
It's only when it breaks the surface that I realise I've foul-hooked this giant by a small flap of skin. I'm lucky I managed to bring it in at all. Female bull sharks are known to come upriver to deliver their young. But is this the same pregnant female from last year?
Okay, 3, 2, 1. It's a male!
This is the last thing anyone expected, and it means this investigation is far from over. At nearly 10 foot and weighing a good 500 pounds, I've hooked one of the biggest male bull sharks ever recorded. But the question is, why is it in this river? We know that pregnant females come into fresh water, but it's unusual to find such a big testosterone-fueled male up a river. Tracking the shark with a hydrophone, we're hoping to find out what's drawing it inland. The acoustic tag, which we secured to the back of the shark, transmits a signal which we hear as a ping on our hydrophone. The clearer the sound, the closer the shark.
Yeah? So a bit further up here? Alright. Maybe the hint of something. We might be just out of the main range.
We end up 20 miles upriver, monitoring every quarter mile in a fruitless search for signals. On our way back downriver, we finally pick up this predator's trail.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah.
Teeth marks there, teeth there, teeth there.
Just trying to get a look at that.
He had him in its mouth.
This mauled grunter is a sure sign that this shark is hungry and on the prowl for food. Finally, we pick up strong beeps and lock onto the position of this potential man-eater.
87, 81, that's sort of straight ahead. So it's actually and 98.
Following the shark past riverside condos, I'm amazed there has never been a shark attack reported here.
Slightly worried about having my hands close to the water now.
As we continue to track the bull shark, a pattern starts to emerge.
According to the hydrophone, the fish has been, right under that boat. And I'm just listening to the beeps and looking at the screen, and then when I get the strongest signal, I hold it here, I look up, and look, it's just pointing straight at the boat.
These predators have learnt to snatch fish from anglers' lines. It seems the lure of an easy fish meal is what's drawing them upriver, and this food is still plentiful enough to keep them from turning their attention to humans, for now.
Most of the bull sharks in fresh water appear to be wanderers, coming and going as they please. But could they, like some stingrays, ever become permanent residents? Recently I've heard about some bull sharks living in a place where no one would expect to find them. 20 years ago, during floods in Australia, some sharks made their way to this pond on a golf course. When the waters receded, the sharks became trapped, and they've been thriving here ever since, just off the 14th hole. There are also historical accounts of bull sharks living 2,000 miles up the Amazon. However, sharks and stingrays are not the only sea monsters to have been seen in the heart of South America. This fish has the back end of a shark, the head of a stingray, and then something else. On the front of its head, it wields a hideous weapon that looks for all the world like a chainsaw.
This monstrous-looking creature is a sawfish, a prehistoric relative of stingrays, a beast that can also cross into fresh water. My first proof of this was seeing its dagger-covered snout hanging in a hardware shop beside the Amazon 2 decades ago. And these creatures can grow even bigger than bull sharks, to over 20 foot. But in recent years, sawfish worldwide have been driven to the brink of extinction. Now my only hope of finding this monster is in the remote rivers of Western Australia. As the Fitzroy River snakes its way deep into the Australian outback, I reflect on tales of old, which say their saw-like rostrum could hack through boats and slice victims in half. Outback veteran Malcolm Douglas is one of the few people to have witnessed a sawfish attack.
Just as we came out of this creek in the morning, I saw something. I saw a big school of mullet all cruising, and they all sort of huddling together. And I said to my mate, I said, something's stressing those mullet. And next thing, this massive saw came up between them, and it was just went bang, 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 faster than a speeding bullet, as they say. And then he just came to gobbling them up, and then he turned around again, and he did that several times. We just thought that was just the most fantastic thing that we ever saw.
But the sawfish's snout isn't just a weapon. It's an antenna, packed with sensors that can detect the movement of prey in complete darkness, giving these nocturnal hunters a lethal edge.
As the dry season comes on here, you get the Fitzroy gets very shallow, right? And these sawfish will hang around quite often in the shallow water. Now, if you trap a sawfish between the bank and the deep channel, he will come at you with that saw and he'll just lash around like this. This is the protection. Now, if you get hit in the leg or the arm or the stomach, it's not a pretty sight. It'll almost be worse than a crocodile bite because it's a rip right through like this, you know, and then they'd come back and they'd hit you 2 or 3 times.
Right. According to Aboriginal legend, the sawfish used its spiked rostrum to carve out the canyons in this unforgiving landscape. I still find it hard to comprehend that this giant sea fish can be found here, some 200 miles away from the ocean, swimming through these arid backwaters. This is about as simple as fishing gets, I suppose, just using a hand line. So there's the hook down in the water, with a little bit of lead holding the bait in place, and this end just a winder. And this is what the locals use, so I'm just giving it a go. All that remains now is to sit and wait for something to find the bait. In the past, locals have caught massive sawfish in this river. But as night falls, I'm starting to wonder if they are still coming here. As man-eating crocodiles look on, I cast my hand line into the darkness. Just in case I doze off, I tie an empty can to the line. Should anything run off with the bait, the noise of it moving will wake me up. But the real danger of fishing these waters is pulling the unknown in from the darkness. Bull shark. A bull shark this far inland is a real eye-opener. These aggressive fish are clearly thriving here, even during the dry season, when this part of the river is little more than a stagnant pond. So, a pretty hostile environment. You can see why everything in there basically is tooled up. You know, the sawfish possibly needs that weaponry for defence, who knows? Anyway, I better put this back. I just hope I don't hook him up again. Next time out, I opt for heavier gear. Oh, fish on, fish on! Yeah. Good size, good size. It's coming in quite close, it's already quite icky. Trying to get all these rocks in here. I'm gonna need someone to grab it. But in a river full of crocs, I can't be sure what's taken the bait. Oh, it's a sawfish, it's a sawfish. This thing nearly 7 foot long, it's bigger than I am. And that rostrum on there, that's 1.5 feet long. It's got 39 of those teeth. Each one is about 1 inch long, wickedly sharp. Incredibly, this 7-foot fish is a mere juvenile. It turns out, sawfish use rivers for the same purpose as bull sharks. They're a safe place for their young to grow. But in this river, their safety from predators is only relative. The thing is with these fish, it's always the weaponry that the attention is drawn to, the rostrum with all those teeth. But actually, looking at the rest of this fish, this animal has been in the wars. It's been on the receiving end of quite a bad injury. There's a big bit of its pectoral fin here missing. And look at that. A saltwater crocodile thought it would have an easy meal. Teeth just bounced off that hide. So this is not just an animal with a
very sort of fearsome weapon on the end of its snout. It's just really tough as well. I mean, it just shrugged off that attack. It's about to tense. We're about to have a splash. Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
This fish will soon make its way to the sea, where it could grow into a 20-foot giant.
Over the last 30 years, I've seen for myself that lakes and rivers can conceal all kinds of unexpected beasts. But catching sea monsters in fresh water still leaves me with a sense of disbelief.
There it is, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is! That's what I wanted to look at.
Even when you know the biology that allows bull sharks, some stingrays and sawfish to go where other sea fish would die, when you see one on the end of your line, somehow it still just doesn't compute.
That's a fish, dorsal and tail, dorsal and tail. Bloody hell!
It all goes to show that even today, you can never quite be sure what's down there.
This is good size. I can see, oh, I see the flank of that. Oh, yeah. Slacken off the drag a little bit. Where's the net?